So this is the first episode of the Syntonic Tech Podcast series. I guess that's a working title. You probably don't know who Syntonic is. So we're a startup based in Cincinnati, consisting of 3 members. We're going to go ahead and introduce ourselves. So I am Andrew, and I primarily do development for Android and web.
My name's Joe, and I primarily do development for Android.
My name's Caleb, and I do iOS and web.
So here you can see our website. If you want to know a little bit about us, you can go here, syntonic.io. And basically what we do is we make apps, whether that be mobile apps or web apps. We'll work with people from various places, whatever they need, just different types of applications. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the first segment of the show, which is going to be talking about a little bit of our background and the kinds of things that we use from day to day in our development.
So most of our development is for native apps, and we use Swift right now with Xcode, and our Android is written in Java with Android Studio.
And then when it comes to web and backend stuff, we use the mean stack, so MongoDB, Express.js, AngularJS, Node.js. And then when it comes for like real-time apps, we use Firebase for the built-in real-time database functionality, notifications, that kind of thing. And then Socket.io. And then for client applications, when it comes to like CSS, HTML, use a lot of Sass, SCSS, and Bourbon Neat. If you don't know what Bourbon is, check out Bourbon.io. It's really good CSS framework. So that's good.
Yeah, and then some of the development tools that we use. So like for non-native mobile applications, we generally use Atom as a text editor. Would definitely recommend it. It's made by GitHub. Has a great support for plugins. Then we use Gulp as a task runner for node projects, helps streamline development. We use Mocha and Chai for unit testing. We use a Git version control system. We host on GitHub and Bitbucket usually. We automate deployment from Git. And then we use Heroku and AWS for web application hosting. And then a lot of the static sites, like our Syntonic blog, which I think Andrew's pulling up. Yep. We generally host with GitHub Pages. We do host with GitHub Pages. And then we use Jekyll as a minimalistic blogging engine. For our project management, we use Slack for communication. It's a form of integration, and then Trello also.
So our apps so far are just 2 simple apps. It's Life, which is a puzzle game based on Conway's Game of Life. If you don't know what that is, you can Google it and check it out. It's pretty cool. And then our second one, which is still in a work in progress for both iOS and Android, is Firestream, and Andrew can explain a little bit of that.
So at its core, Firestream is basically a way to make music playlists with your friends. It's backed by Spotify right now, and it's going to be out on Android and iOS soon. So let's say you're at a party and one person wants to control the music on their phone. Well, anyone that's at that party can download the app and then join the party, search for different songs on Spotify, and request that the host add them. And then the host can say, all right, I'm going to accept this song or reject this song. And so it's a way to basically allow everyone at a party or whatever to suggest music.
Our next segment is going to cover the trending tools of the development community. Our source is Stackshare.io. You can sign up for their weekly newsletter at their site. They'll send you just a cover of all the trending tools for that week. Andrew is going to cover the big tools for 2016.
So one of the biggest things I've been using personally is called Postman. Now you can download this for desktop, either Mac or Windows, or get it as an app for Chrome. And basically what it is a way to test RESTful APIs. They have a really nice interface, and you can save all your REST calls. It's a really great tool, and we're going to be showing it off in the next segment for an app in our code demo. So some of the other new tools this year, one of the biggest ones is Yarn. And Yarn is an alternative to NPM, which is the Node Package Manager, which is how you download packages for Node.js. And so basically Yarn is really fast the way that it caches packages locally. So when you do npm install, you basically do yarn install or yarn add is their syntax, and it's really, really fast. It's a really great tool, and it's really popular this year. The next thing we want to talk about is Passbolt, and I'll hand it off to Joe for that one.
Yep. So Passbolt's an open source form of managing passwords when you're on a team. Yeah, open source, guys. So it's just really useful generally if you're not able to form groups within some application. You can put in a group password into this and access it with your team members.
Oh, they have mobile support.
Yeah, nice mobile support.
On the roadmap.
The next thing we're going to look at is Milligram. So Milligram is a minimalistic CSS framework, kind of similar to Bootstrap. You guys might be familiar with, probably are. And so this is just kind of the way it looks here. Pretty easy to implement.
It's nice if you want to just get like a small web app going, have it look nice without coding a lot of CSS yourself.
That's not the default HTML elements.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the last thing we're going to look at is Kite, which they define as your programming copilot, which is exactly what it is. So it's great for two things, documentation and autocomplete. So the nice thing about its autocomplete feature is, number one, that it's built on frequency, and that it also provides examples right below it.
Alright, so for the code demo segment, we're basically going to be creating a simple Express app with Node, and then create an API for that, and then test that API using Mocha, Chai, and Supertest. So you can follow along if you want. You'll need a terminal open and then a text editor. So first off, make sure that you create a folder, call it whatever you want, go into that folder, and then if you like to use Yarn, you can use Yarn init to create a Node project, or you can do npm init to do the same thing. So once you've done that, first off we're gonna install all the dependencies that we need for this app. So first we're gonna do yarn add express, and then yarn add dev Mocha, Chai, and Supertest. And you'll notice we added the dev flag here because these are only dependencies that we need when developing. Okay, so go into your text editor. One quick thing we want to do is go into the package.json and add a scripts object so that we can call yarn test and basically have that do Mocha for us, run our Mocha tests. So you're going to have scripts with test and then just Mocha and comma. Save that. Okay, so now we're going to add a new directory called test. And Mocha is basically going to look for this on its own when you just call Mocha. So any unit tests in here will get executed. And then in there, you're going to make a file called whatever you want, test.js, for example. Then at the root, we're going to add a new file called app.js. Now, app.js is going to house all of the Express code to make our Express app. I'm going to paste the code in, and then I'm going to go over it. Alright, so first you can see that we require the Express module, and then we create our app just by calling Express. Then we designate a port. You can use 8080 or whatever you want. Now here's where we get into the routing of the app. So we do app.get /. So basically when you go to localhost 8080, this is what's going to get called. So that's going to, basically we want to just send back a message in JSON format. So we do res.json with an object, and we're going to say message equals hello world. So then we're going to set up the app, we're going to listen on port, and then we can put just a debugger message through console.log, just say app listening on port, port 8080. So then for Supertest, we need to export this app as the module, so you can just do module.exports equals app. So then we're going to go over into test, and I'll paste this code in. So first, we're requiring the assert from the Chai module. You can also use the standard assert that's included with Node. However, if you want to build out an application, I highly recommend using Chai, as its assert is pretty advanced in the types of assertions that you can do. It's a really great module. So then we're going to also require Supertest, and we're just going to call it request. Then we're going to require app from the app.js before. Now here's where we get into defining the test suite. So we're just going to wrap all of our API tests into this. So Mocha, you're just going to do describe and then a string. So we're going to call it API tests, and then you get a function. So then inside of that, we're going to describe our get /, so that's just the root localhost 8080. So we're going to do describe get / with a function. Now in here, we're going to say it should respond with hello world in JSON format. And then you're going to notice that the function it is called with has an object called done. And basically at the end of your assertion, you're going to call done, and it's going to know that this test is done and it can move on to the next one or finish. So then inside of the actual testing, we're going to use supertest. So we're going to say request on app. The path is .get /. Then we're going to say, let's set it to accept JSON and then expect the content type to be JSON. And this is a pretty good practice if you're dealing with a RESTful API and you want to be sending and receiving JSON format, just to make sure that everything's good and dandy. So then you're going to say we're expecting it to be 200, of course, status code. Then end, you're going to get error and result. So since we're expecting to get this JSON object back when we send it on /, we're going to say let JSON equals result.body. So that's going to get that object. Then we're going to use chai to assert equality between JSON.message and hello world. So those should be the same. It's going to be hello world compared to hello world. And then we're going to say done. Now, assuming everything's set up correctly, this should run and pass the test. So you can do yarn test. You gotta save that first. Yarn test. And there we go. So we get the message app listing on 8080. Then we get the tag API tests. Then we get the tag get /. It should respond with hello world in JSON format, and it's passing. So then the last thing we want to do is check Postman and make sure that we get the request correctly. So you can just start the app with node app, and then open up Postman, and just send a GET request to localhost 8080, and there we go. We got the message back with message hello world. So that's pretty much it for this segment. So by the end of this, you've learned how to make an Express app with Node.js, as well as a simple unit test with Mocha, Chai, and Supertest. So we just had CES this week, and for our next segment, we're going to be talking about a bunch of different new stuff in the world of tech and hardware and that kind of thing. So not really developer stuff, but kind of in that vein. So the first thing we want to talk about is the comparison between the new Intel CPU 7th Gen Kaby Lake 7700K and compared to last gen's 6700K. The 6700K is a really popular CPU. So this comparison is pretty good to see what Kaby Lake's performance is. So you can see a couple of things on this WCCF Tech article. The Kaby Lake basically has negligible power consumption difference at stock voltage, or at 4.0 gigahertz to last gen 6700K, and obviously it's going to have more power consumption at an overclocked voltage. And then for core temperature, it's a 1.5 degrees higher at both 4.0 and then obviously way hotter at 1.2 volts. So then they have a nice comparison with a graph, just overall performance numbers, and it's not great. The overall combined performance increase is just 3.6% compared to the 6700K, and then when both are overclocked 4.0 or 4.8 and 4.6 respectively, it's a 2.4% increase. And then for gaming, it's only 2.6. So I don't know. Do you guys think it's worth the upgrade? I say no.
Nope.
I'm gonna also vote no.
Yeah, I don't know that this deserves to be called.
It was pretty negligible.
Yeah.
For a.
I mean, it's there maybe if you were to upgrade from a previous gen, but definitely not from 6 to quote unquote 7.
It seems more like a stepping stone towards a real next gen.
And granted, this is like the first generation like off of Intel's new not TikTok cycle, so it's just a small bump, but I don't know. I didn't think it was that great. Probably not worth buying straight up from the 6700K.
Rather get the 6700K cheaper now.
Yeah, get it on sale now because they'll be going on sale now. Next up, Ryzen got revealed, well, a month ago by AMD. And then at CES, they started showing off the AM4 platform motherboards, and they're working with other computer manufacturers. There's a list down here that are building like pre-built Ryzen rigs. I don't know. There's a lot of hype to Ryzen, and I don't know if it'll live up to it. People are thinking that hopefully it'll make Intel's prices more competitive. I don't see that happening.
That probably won't happen. I'm expecting them to be priced
similarly, probably a bit lower, but I don't think they're gonna just come out and undercut them by like 50% or anything like that.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to push either Intel to step up their game too much.
I wish it would, but I don't know that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then another article on this, a gaming comparison. So they played Battlefield 1 with both rigs had dual Titan X cards, Titan XP, and then one with the new Ryzen chip and one with the 6900K, which is what they used in the comparison like a month ago.
Which is an expensive CPU.
Yeah, very, very expensive CPU. So, I don't know, from people at CES, they're saying that the comparison is pretty similar, if not the Ryzen performance being a little bit worse. But that's, I don't know, that's to be expected from like this sort of like tier chip, I would say. I don't think they're gonna come out like guns blazing and just demolish Intel at this stage.
Yeah.
But if they price it reasonably, I think this is a good alternative. A nice high performance chip from AMD. They haven't had one in a while. And again from AMD, we're going to talk about Vega. So this is the new line of GPUs from AMD. They're not announced when they're coming out. Hopefully soon. It's been talked about for a while. In one demo, they had a Vega GPU running Doom at 4K, and this is pretty interesting. The Vega GPU did perform better than a GTX 1080 at 4K resolution. So the GTX 1080, if you look at benchmarks for that in Doom, it doesn't maintain an average of 60 FPS at ultra settings, but the Vega GPU got between 60 and 70 FPS. Now, one obvious drawback to this is that the games, including Doom, that they tested in this demo are running the Vulkan API, which heavily favor AMD GPUs over NVIDIA. With that said, I think this is a really good thing. Hopefully it'll be priced competitively like the Ryzen chips.
People are expecting NVIDIA to either step up their game and release a 1080 Ti in response to this, or drop their prices on the 1080, and maybe make this market for graphics card a little bit more competitive.
Yeah. I think Vulkan's really cool too, and DirectX 12 as well. We need to get that used in more and more games as time goes on. A couple other stories. Dell made an 8K monitor. It's $5,000. That's pretty crazy. It looks nice. I'd like to see it in person. I think this is a bit ridiculous. I don't
even have a 4K monitor yet.
Yeah.
But
I'm on 1080p.
Yeah. There haven't even been many 8K TVs.
Right. There's been
shown.
a couple. I guess I can't think of what the market would be for this kind of thing at this point.
Just
wait till Christmas next year.
Yeah.
Just wait till Christmas next year.
I think we're gonna
need have one.
A couple of years at least to get to the 8K.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's beautiful looking. I mean, I guess we have to go to 8K at some point. For some reason, we need it over 4K. And I don't really know what we're gonna do after 8K. I don't know.
I don't know if there's another direction besides just keep
right, scaling the resolution. Yeah, look at the numbers of the resolution: 7680 by 4320. That's pretty insane. But
there's more vertical pixels than there are on my horizontally on my monitors.
Yeah,
there's twice as many.
All right, so next story. This has gotten a lot of hype. Acer is manufacturing a $9,000 gaming laptop.
Not sure what the market for this is at all.
Yeah, this is a bit ridiculous. So a couple things. The screen is 21 inches. That's massive. I have a 17-inch laptop. It's massive.
I have a 13-inch.
Yeah, 13, 15 is fine. But if you want to go for 21, do it. Buy this.
If you have a giant case to carry around in, or if you want to just hold it in your arms.
Yeah. I think how much...
It's curved. The screen's curved.
The screen's also curved, which is cool, but also a bit silly, I feel like.
It's not 4K.
It's not 4K. It's
which is
1080p. It is ultra-wide 2560 by 1080, so that's good.
120 refresh rate.
That's... I hope that they would have that. If it was 60, this would be awesome.
Especially including what they have for the graphics behind it.
Yeah. It's 8 kilograms. Don't know what that is in pounds, but that's really heavy. And it's $9,000. And in Europe, it's 10,000 euros.
It has a mechanical keyboard.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
GTX 1080s. but not a desktop CPU.
Yeah. I don't know what. It probably doesn't matter a whole lot, but
Well, if they're gonna go overkill, you might as
yeah,
well.
this is definitely the overkill computer, so they should have just gone all the way.
So big.
It is so big. Yeah, so that's that. Next up, NVIDIA. They did not reveal the 1080 Ti to many people's disappointment. They did reveal a couple of weird things, a new NVIDIA Shield and a Shield Spot, which looks like something straight out of 1984. I think they're trying to spy on us.
Eyeball in the wall.
Yeah, it's an eyeball in the wall. So basically what this thing does is it connects through Google Home, and you can use it for like Google Assistant and
Nest.
other like home Internet of Things kind of like gadgets.
They're
like the
trying to
Nest.
get into the Internet of Things for some reason.
Yeah, NVIDIA, I didn't expect that.
Not sure what that is.
Although I do think it's cool that they're kind of pushing the market, because I would like to see that become, I don't know, more usable and just more competition, so that I haven't bought any devices like this. I think it would be cool in the future to have something integrated with your home, like the Nest, but just to drive more competition in that area, get more companies on board making a lot of stuff.
It seems to be getting pretty competitive at this point.
Yeah, there's more in the last couple
Amazon
years.
Echo, Google Home.
And then LG has the new one that they showed at CES. Yeah. And they're actually running Alexa on that too, which is interesting.
I think I'm surprised the Spot doesn't use Alexa.
Yeah.
I think Alexa is used in a lot of things now.
Yeah. And because the API you can access through whatever platform that is,
Yeah.
and kind of build your own apps on top of that. So that's cool. And then the last thing we want to talk about is this ridiculous looking flash drive by Kingston that comes in 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte. It's a bit silly looking. They've had a couple of models of USB drives like this in the past. I think there was a 1 gig one, 1 terabyte one, and then like 512 gigs.
Yeah,
But
those
2 terabytes is a bit ridiculous in this form factor. I don't know.
It's a little big.
Yeah. And do they give a price?
I think
No word on
the
pricing.
2013 1 terabyte was
2,000. I think it's like 2,000 on
Yeah, I
Newegg.
think that was 2,000.
I don't know what it
Newegg.
was at launch, but
It was probably 2,000. I don't know how many people actually bought it.
probably not a lot.
I would.
I'm
buy it.
sure.
I'm not sure the reason
I'm
why.
I'm not the market of this, but I don't
I
know.
don't know why you would want to release it. I mean, I guess they're showing they can do it, but
Yeah. I don't know. They should focus their efforts more on other stuff, I think. This is a bit silly.
yeah.
Yeah, that's all the stories that we wanted to talk about for hardware and CES kind of roundup stuff.
So that does it for the First and Tonic podcast. If you guys want to look into us a little bit more, if you need any web or mobile applications designed, you can go further on our website. You can go to the Contact Us page. And be sure to look us up on our blog. We'll have a lot more content coming out soon. So thanks again for listening. We'll see you later.